So I want to talk about why environment is everything. So recently, I was talking to one of my friends who makes a lot of money. So he's pretty rich, right? Well, he makes, for example, he's a freelance videographer, and he makes like at least like 50K or 20K a month, right, on average, right? And it's kind of interesting when I was on a video call with him, and when he was telling me about like the lowest you should charge for your clients is don't go below 3K. And it's kind of interesting why he said that, because one, he just reckons my videography skills and photography skills are good enough to charge a higher rate. Because it's kind of interesting, right? When you hang out with people who make more money than you, it kind of pushes you to make more money. It's just interesting how like when you hang out with people who make more money, self-consciously your brain wants to make more money. Self-consciously you start thinking ways of how to make more money. It's just interesting because when you start meeting people who make 10K a month, 20K a month, 50K a month, or 100K a month, it changes your brain to like, oh fuck, I need to start making more money. Like because they give you a bit more like a growth mindset, bro. You should be charging more. You can do better than that. Because most of the time, in order to make a lot of money, a lot of the time it is mindset. Most of the time it is. The reason why you don't make much money is because you're not hanging with enough people who make a lot of money. And what I mean by like environment's everything is that your environment plays a big role of who you hang out with. For example, right? Like for example, if we in this case, right, the people I'm hanging out with are people who are hungry to make a lot of money, are hungry to like make a fuck ton of money, and that's what I learned from being on a video call with this guy. Because generally, if you hang out with people who make a lot of money, it will force you to think of ways how to make more money. Like it's just interesting how environment's everything, man. Like even the people you hang out with, your friends or family, the content you consume, like it just tells you that your environment plays a big role. And honestly, if you want to change who you are, hang out with different people who actually push you, because it's actually interesting. Because when I was on that call, right, it just kind of made me feel like, oh, it has helped me push me more. It actually has helped me have more like abundant mindset of making more money. Because I never thought about having an abundant mindset, because most of the time when I hang out with like friends who don't make a lot of money, they see it as they don't see it's possible to make a lot of money. Like for example, right? If I let's say I make like a I don't know, let's say I get like a 2.5 grand client deal, right? For a friend who doesn't make a lot of money, they think that's a lot of money for them, because they can't see themselves making that much money. But then let's say when I hang out with a friend who makes a lot of money, who makes 20K to let's say 10K or 50K, right? They probably think that's nothing, that's peanut. It's kind of interesting how like when I hang out with people who make more money, it changes my beliefs that, bro, you should be making way more. You should be going higher, charging more. That's what I kind of learned from when I was in that video call. And it's just kind of interesting how that it just forces me to make more money, because the reason why some people don't make much money is because you're hanging with a lot of poor people who don't understand how money works. Because when you hang with people who are not really ambitious with money, you're probably not a type of guy who you probably won't make a lot of money. And in order for you to make a lot of money, you have to one be pretty ambitious about, like you got to be pretty money hungry, and secondly you got to surround yourself with people who push you to make more money. Because a lot of times your environment plays a big role. It does. It literally does, man. Like the people you surround yourself with plays a big role of who you become. So if you become a guy where you hang with a lot of like business people who are ruthless of making money, you end up becoming a guy who makes a lot of money. Because I heard this analogy from this YouTuber Hamza. So I'm pretty sure when he was living in Dubai, apparently like most of these Dubai entrepreneurs were making like 100K, 50K a month. I think like minimum is like around 100K a month, all these rich entrepreneurs. But if you're making 10K a month in Dubai, you're considered like low standards, like low class. It's kind of interesting. And then when he said when you moved to Bali, when he started making like, let's say on average like 10K a month or 20K, then you consider like high status. You consider like a billionaire or like fucking not a billionaire though. You consider like someone who's high value, because it's kind of interesting how your environment plays a big role. Because if you hang out with people who push you, then you want to then it'll push you to become better. And I just kind of find it interesting how when I was on that video call, it just kind of thought of me like, oh, I should be making way more money. Like I'm charging peanuts. You know, even when you hang out with like a lot of like business people or entrepreneurs, like especially in the freelance niche, you make at least like 10K or 20K. It just completely changes your whole mindset of how things work. Because some people who charge low prices don't believe they can make a lot of money. Because they still think like an employee mindset. Because I noticed a lot of people who've been working at a 9 to 5 job don't really believe they can make a lot of money from running a business. That's why a lot of 9 to 5 people who try to transition to the business world kind of find it hard, because they're so used to getting paid like a consistent salary check, right? And then when they get into the business world, they realize, oh, what the fuck? I don't know what they're doing. Because I think most people think running a business is risky, which, yeah, obviously running a business is risky, but at the same time, getting a job is also risky as well, because you can be made redundant. The only reason why getting a job is a lot more safer because you're working for a business that's been successful, and that business took a risk in the first place. So it's not as risky as you think it is getting a job. The reason why people think getting a job is safe because you're already working on a successful business. But in order to run a successful business, you gotta know how a business works. Like for example, if you're someone out there who knows how to run a successful business, there's not really a risk because you know what you're doing. But that's what I've got to say. I just want to talk about your environment means a lot. And yeah, that's what I've got to say. Alright, have a good one. A bit of a rant, but it is what it is. Peace.